Okay, there we go. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Commissioners meeting for August 7th. The first order of business is our pledge. Would you please rise and join me?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The meeting minutes from our July 17th meeting have been submitted. We have a motion for approval.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion we approve the minutes as submitted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Paula, presentation of accounts payable.
Mr. President, I'd like to recommend the claims from July 20th, 2023 through August 7th, 2023 be approved without exception.
So move.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Mr. President, I'd also like to recommend the payroll dated July 21st and August 4th, 2023 be approved without exception.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We have a change order from Tecton on the Villa project.
This is the final bill for the Villa upgrade that we did out there. This will completely have the project completely done. So in saying that, we have a change order of an increase of $28,232. I move that we approve this change order.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the change order as outlined. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes. Smokey?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think this is just simply for you guys to approve the team advisory board members. We meet quarterly, and surely you have a list right in front of you?
I do.
Good. Okay. I don't have anything further to report. This is the same list that's been in place for some time.
Could we compare the list we have with the list you have?
The list that you have is from my list.
It is this list.
You don't. Yeah,
Two of my buddies on there.
those were just wasted steps. That's what they were. Is there any need for us to read these in for the benefit of the minutes?
I guess I'm not sure where, so you've got the list and it's been, published and distributed. There's some that are your appointments and others that are other authorities appointed. I don't know, I guess where I'm going with this is, I don't know if the ones on your list were people you did in January or if these are.
Actually, this one isn't correct.
Oh.
Because remember, we had to correct the appointed by.
Oh, appointed by, yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the one we have here is correct.
The one I created.
This is a cleanup because there was a new appointment by the mayor of Lafayette.
Okay. I mean,
And
just for the minutes, why don't you go ahead and read just who is on the list? You don't need the appointed by and the rest of it.
Okay. Tracy Brown, John Basham, Donna Majewski, Brad Bishop, Art Choate, Gary Smith, Jim Lewis, Perry Martin, Jeff Butts, Donald Hartman, and Jay Wasson are all current members of the TEMA Advisory Board for 2023 and 2024.
And then just maybe a motion to approve that list as presented.
Okay, but wouldn't we need to clarify that of those, two of those are, well, three of them. One, John Basham is not appointed by us, it's appointed by the county council. Brad Bishop is appointed by the mayor of Lafayette, and Art Choate is appointed by the mayor of West Lafayette? Because
I mean, yeah, you can't take that away. It doesn't
Okay.
matter whether you agree or not. It's just, you'll have on file that you don't have any objection to this list and that you've affirmed
Okay.
it to the best of your power
Okay.
going forward.
And in the future, we'll add them to our annual, or in this case, semi-annual.
Yeah, however, I don't know
Semi-annual.
how the appointments fall, but
Okay.
yes.
So do we have a motion to approve the list?
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any additional further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the motion passes.
Thank you.
And then you have a mutual aid agreement?
Yes, this is one that it's kind of, Audubon is unique because it sits right on the county line. So we have basically just clarified things with Benton County and our office in the event that there is a disaster of some sort or a need in the town of Audubon. And I think you've all reviewed it and you have copies. I'm certainly good with signing that or agreeing with that document.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion, we approve the revised mutual aid agreement for emergency management with Benton EMA.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Kent.
Morning. It's a ad hoc agreement so that I can use this consulting firm for services if we have an issue that arises. They were formed, I believe, last year, so it's a fairly new company. However, it's composed of a lot of the people I've worked with in the past.
And this is for network support?
Just IT support across the board. That their specialty is networking, but they've got experience firewalls, the storage services, VMware, so various things they could be brought in.
And it's a per-hour rate
Yeah.
of
But
one-
basically, it's like an insurance policy. If Dusty happens to be on vacation or something, and we need to bring somebody in special.
And do you happen to have the additional terms and conditions signed by people-driven technology? I noticed they signed
It's
the
not up.
contract, but not the additional terms and conditions. You can let us know afterwards. But,
All right.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion, we approve the service agreement with people-driven technology.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agreement with People Driven Technology, Inc. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Kent. Health Department?
Okay, so we are asking for an additional environmentalist, which covers multiple avenues of the health department. I did do a chart, I'm sorry, it would have been better if I knew it was going to you, showing the growth that we've had in the specific divisions. The biggest thing is, we have now had different legislation from the state that is in the makeshift of changing, that's gonna put more for us regulators to do more. And then again, this county is growing at a rapid pace. So we cover foods, pools, septics, tattoos, vector, mold, unfit housing, and lead.
What kind of housing did you say?
Unfit housing.
Okay, I don't see it on your little chart. I was curious about.
So those aren't definite numbers. It depends on who has called us in. We work with different entities, Building Commission, APS, city.
So this unfit, does that handle the so-called landlords that aren't keeping up rentals and things like that and such?
Yes,
Okay.
which with that legislation still in the works of changing, we have new steps that we're going to be following. So some of our stuff is pending, but we can see everything that's coming down the pipeline. With one supervisor over both divisions being me, and then 5 field inspectors, I'm hoping we can justify for an additional field inspector.
And and obviously restaurants, you know, that's not a surprise. I mean, we're
They're
seeing.
not closing like I thought they would
Yeah.
do after COVID. They're rolling in.
So, but the pool number is staggering, that so far this year, you've done, you know, well over twice as many as you've done the past 2 years.
Yes, pools was an opportunity that we kind of missed, and we are actually omitting doing seasonal pools because that is not a requirement by state, but in this county, I think it's a good public prevention. So
Oh.
your seasonal pools being like your apartments outside and so forth.
Okay,
That is definitely.
I may have misread this then. So is the 106 that you've done this year, it's a total of, you did 150 last year, total, correct? I think I misread that. I was comparing the 106 to 42, but I should compare it to the 150 that was done last year.
No, we did not get those inspections done. So this is showing what we're doing by doing the bare minimum of state requirements, not the need for this county. Pools was neglected.
So the 106 that you show there, then that is so far in 2023 combined, that's just annual pools. That does not include seasonal in that number
Correct.
then?
And the 106 were boots on the ground, field inspector conducted those. So with all the hotels coming in, that's an additional
I see.
food
Okay.
plus
Okay.
pool.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And so we are also missing 54 inspections that probably should be done, but they're not required by the state, but we're public preventers, right? So it would be nice to be able to have our presence there.
Well, same health concerns that you would have at the other
Yeah.
pools.
Yeah.
And is this, so this position, is it going to be split between, is it going to be just split between pools and restaurant openings, or is that?
Yes, so we're all environmentalists because our job should cover most of that. We did do a job modification to point it out a little bit more because the term environmentalist is very open for interpretation. But the need right now for the department, from my data and my understanding, is for internal growth, and so more foods and pools. We have a lot of people chomping at the bit to learn more, but we're doing what we can to get our essential tasks done, so. But yeah, more foods and pools, you are correct.
Are you working behind right now?
We are, but I have a pretty green staff, but they're fired up and ready to go. So even training somebody makes them stronger inspectors themselves, so. And then, of course, we've restructured a little bit, maybe temporary, maybe permanent.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. President, I move that we approve this additional environmentalist food/pools position as presented to us.
And I actually have a couple more questions. How are you planning on funding this?
I'm sorry?
What's the funding source for this position?
So I will let Loomis speak on that. I think I know, but.
Well, of course, I'm going to answer general fund.
And is this something that can be paid for from the additional funding that's coming from the state?
Yeah, if we have anything left from the state, yes. But this would be more of a county job and general fund budget, item budget, I would think.
And has it been, was this position, so this position has not
It's
gone through
already
the.
created.
I know it's already created, but I mean, it was not requested within the budget
For 24?
for '24?
No.
No,
And you're asking for this for,
immediately, right?
for now,
Yes,
ASAP?
yes.
But it would be an adjustment into the budget for '24 as well, obviously, then.
Well, if approved, you still have to go to the council to get the additional funding, correct?
Yeah, and we do have some additional funding from, there's money left for, we didn't have a head nurse, so we have funds from there. And there's also some money from, I believe, one of the other positions we have that wasn't completely utilized, so we do have some money to carry us over, but it's not going to be enough to get us through through December. It'll be close, but not quite.
And will you have any other grant funds left over at the end of the year that might help at least, I mean, obviously, you'll be before council making the pitch for them for the 2024 year. We have any other source funding other than general fund for the remainder of 2023?
We may have some money left in the COVID funding for that, but I would like to make sure this is a line item, because this is an additional employee for the county, so I would hope that would be a general fund line item, at least for
I agree.
2024. But we will try to work, I'm pretty sure we can work through this with monies we have, and just a little bit if we need any from the county council and you guys.
For '23?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to be ongoing and we have that influx of cash, I'd like to see it funded from that influx. I mean, I don't mean to speak for council, but I'm sure that they would, I know general fund, as always, is going to be really, really tight.
Well, the problem is that, according to the governor's money, we can use 40% towards environmental, up to 40%, but that doesn't mean we have to use 40% if we need the money for more emergent and urgent problems in public health for the community. So I'd rather not use a county position if I don't have to for that money.
Right. So, I mean, that's what I mean. I think we need to prioritize what that is. And so if this isn't considered emergent, then maybe we don't need that position. I mean, I think this needs to be prioritized. Do you have the spending plan done, the proposed spending plan done?
No.
Okay. And that will be reviewed at budget hearings, correct? Is that,
As of now, it's not any part of budget hearings. It hasn't been established what the plan is.
right? It has to be
So-
submitted by September 1st.
Mhm.
And then, so it will go through its own appropriation
I'm
process?
guessing it would.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to submit that to the state by September 1st. There's already talk of an extension because people we're like, for example, not to drag this point out, but we had some money set aside for another RN for our FEMA program, fetal infant mortality review program, and a case manager. But now we received a significant grant. I must give all the credit to Aubrey Kitchell, who was amazing. She got the state people online, and I was there, and they had 1.5 million, and I think we got 300 and some odd thousand, $400,000 out of that 1.5, considering all of the counties that are participating, because our county is growing so fast. And one of the plans that Aubrey and I have is to branch out into other counties, and that's what we're doing. We're already seeking to establish programs and help them with boots on the ground after a needs assessment to get their FEMA program up and running. Because all of these cases end up coming to us anyway. So because we got this large grant, now I can move that money into the grant and have almost $175,000 now that I can use for other things. So this is why it's been a little bit working the budget. And we had our first meeting last week, and we've got a meeting this week as well to start, finalizing that budget outline.
And what is the, what is the position? Is it
It's an environmentalist with
Is it
focus
a-
on foods and pools.
is it a PAT, though, or
It's a PAT 4.
PAT 4? Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know the salary range? What's the beginning
I
salary?
think the start is 58.
58?
I think the starting. And that's another thing. These jobs are very hard to fill, so it's going to take time.
And every one of these permit or inspections, they are paying a fee to get this service taken care of, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, lead is in an infant stage, and 14 is pretty high, I think, out of the gate.
I understand it's not our position to determine where that's paid from exactly, but I would like to see that paid from by the additional funding, since that's, if this is in fact a priority that you're putting forth, that's part of the plan. So I can't remember where the status is. Was there a motion?
Dave entered the motion.
Okay, and I'll second the motion.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And the motion passes. And then you have another item on the agenda, a professional services contract. It looks like it's for,
Yes, this is for our last position that we need for under contract for Gateway to Hope. And this should pretty much round out our available staff to maximize the efficiency of the program. This is the last time I'll be asking for a contract employee for Gateway to Hope. We now are at 4, and it's working perfectly. I think we've integrated them into the program really well, so it's at least seems to be beneficial anyway. I will be asking for more contracted positions, though.
Mr. President, I move that we approve this professional service agreement for Gateway to Hope for Mr. Robert Anderson.
I will second that.
we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the motion passes.
And if I may say one last thing, I forgot when Stacy was talking. There's a national exam certification, REHS exam for environmentalists, and it's an extremely difficult exam. And Stacy has encouraged all of her staff in environmental to take this exam. So we will be one of the few health departments where every one of our staff will be certified under this national program. So I give her a lot of credit for encouraging and her leadership for doing that. So they're studying right now, and we've moved them to allow them to use comp time because they are so busy to study for the exam. They can't do it during business hours, so we're allowing them to use their comp time for that.
Okay, thank you for letting us know. And it looks like next up, we have Amy is here with a lease for the Public Defender's Office.
Good morning. I'm here to ask to have a lease agreement signed on the 4th Street. It's just one office building to help with our part-time attorneys when they're here, so they have a space to work, because I'm down to 2 conference rooms, so when they take another conference room, sometimes it backs up. And I have quite a few out-of-town attorneys, so when they're here, they need a place to work. We will not allow clients to go in there. It's just a place to give the attorneys a private place to work, to contact clients, do whatever they need to do.
And just for the record, Amy misspoke just a bit. It's not an office building, it's just an office suite. It's $315 a month, and it goes through December of 2024.
I was going to say, that sounded like a really sweet deal.
Sweet.
And we'll receive 40% reimbursement on that, or whatever the commission gives us as well.
So 40% off of the 315 gets even better.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or roughly thereof.
And Amy, do you happen to have a signed contract?
I thought, I have one, I don't think it's signed.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if it's the up-to-date one either. Yeah, I do.
Okay, we can get that
Yeah,
signed.
I've got it.
I'll trade you out. How's that? Okay. Mr. President, I'll make a motion. We approve this office lease as stated.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
On the opening of the bid, this is for the morgue, where we're getting the morgue area its own HVAC system. It sounds like we got to get there pretty close because our AC's having problems this summer. Also, it's to redo the autopsy rooms and also add another refrigerator. Sometimes certain deceased people that need to be separated and such, so it's to do the whole package.
All right, there's, looks like we've got one bid from Wright Hardware Company. Building the suspense. Base bid lump sum of $509,878. Alternate one is $1,163.
Mr. President, I move that we take these bids under advisement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to take the bids under advisement. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion passes. Youth Services. Good morning, Rebecca.
You have a creation?
Yes,
of a
you want me to
position?
just explain? Okay,
Yes.
I'm ready. So this is a position that you approved for 2024. This is in response to juvenile justice reform that's coming down from House Bill 1359. We want to go ahead and start it in 2023. We have funding available through vacant positions, and then we also, for 2024, are going to eliminate 2 positions to create this position. So House Bill 1359 requires diversion at every county level, and then it is not going to be an unfunded mandate, so the state is actually putting funding sources into place to help with diversion efforts at the county level.
And has the second step, have we taken care of that yet? Meaning, you said the combination of those positions for 24.
So it's been approved for 2024 as a new position.
Okay.
We just want to start it in 2023.
Okay, but my question is, we already did the elimination of those 2 positions? I can't remember, to combine that into the...
Yes, for
Okay.
2024,
Okay.
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And this has been through the Personnel Committee.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. President, I'll make a motion, we create the one position of Clinical Services Director as an SO.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to create the position. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank
The
you.
second one is a request to contract with DLZ to do a study of expansion out at Cary Home for $12,500.
And to put it more in a nutshell, what we're looking at is a juvenile detention facility, not like we did several years back, something simple. The total lump sum is $12,500 for them to do their study. It's something that we're hearing more and more about, that, as our sheriff will say, they're hauling juveniles throughout the state. We're paying as high as $300 and some a day to house some of these juveniles. Currently, it's costing us close to $600,000 plus to incarcerate these juveniles, so we're trying to see what would happen if we used Cary Home, part of that area, in there, and be able to condense this and make it work. So it's just a study for right now. So saying that, Mr. President, I move that we approve this professional service contract with DLZ, the lump sum of $12,500.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
May I ask where this one is being funded from?
Professional services?
Commissioners, professional?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I would like to ask permission for Community Corrections, excuse me, to apply for grant funding from CDC on projects that include COVID mitigation, a request for $254,000 in these projects to cover the specific projects that I had explained to you all in an email that Jason would be glad to come up and explain to you in more detail.
Please.
Good morning.
Morning.
I dropped the same pen you did. The Department of Corrections contacted all the community correction centers with some COVID funding that was available, kind of a one-time thing. I don't know if it's grant funding, just a funding opportunity for us to apply for, having to do with installing UV lighting in our HVAC, disinfectant, being able to provide contract cleaning, deep cleaning for our public and participant restrooms and locker rooms, some virtual telemed services and upfitting that office to be able to do that. The total lump sum is $252,346.96 is what our submission to that process was. There's a transportation in there as well. So they didn't provide a lot of guidance as far as, again, if it would be reimbursed, the county would be reimbursed, if they would pay directly or what that process was. It was get your Christmas list in, and then they would figure out what was approved and then what the next steps were.
So just by applying doesn't mean you're going to get the whole, could get the
Correct,
whole
correct,
254.
right. It was just get your list in under those certain categories for COVID mitigation and health of the facility.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion, we grant permission to apply as stated.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to grant permission to apply for the CDC grant for COVID mitigation as outlined. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion passes.
Thank you. And then to accept, we'd like to ask permission for the Health Department to receive their awarded funding from the Indiana Department of Health for the FEMA program that Dr. Loomis mentioned, in the amount of $406,000 for the continuation of this program.
Mr. President, I move to grant permission to accept as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. It's not on our list, so it must have come off. Do we have any unfinished business or new business?
No.
We have reports on file for July of 2023 from 4 Precious Paul's low-cost spay and neuter clinic, from the Building Commission, from the Clerk of the Circuit Court, from the County Public Library, and from Weights and Measures. Those will all be available in our office immediately following this meeting. Is there anyone who would like to make a public comment?
Move to adjourn.
We are adjourned.